Now let's see how to create the classical interactive report. As the name indicates, interactive means we can interact with the report, and from one list we can navigate to the secondary list. Take example, as we have created the vendor master report in the previous report development exercise, and based on the selection criteria we can see this output. So our requirement is, when user double click on this any field, that is a vendor ID, we want to display a secondary list. This is called a basic list. In every report there is only one basic list, and there can be up to 20 secondary lists. Means if we double click here, we can navigate to a secondary list, and from that list we can further navigate to the next level. So like that, from this basic list we can navigate up to 20 sub level. So first we'll see with the syntax at line selection. Then after that we'll see how to add the PF status. With the PF status we can add our customize button on the toolbar. We can have the customize menu bar and also the application toolbar. So first we'll see with the at line selection syntax. So in our report here we have display output. So after the end of selection we'll write our coding for at line selection. Now our requirement is the system should read the data of selected record, either 880, 881, like that, and based on the selected record we can perform any logic. So we'll display same record, instead of horizontal we'll display in a vertical format. So for that we required two variables first, that is data gv underscore cursor. This will read the cursor position on the screen. Let's say the field length is, we can give 30, and second, as we want to read the value of listener, that is vendor ID, so that is of character 10. So we declare two variables, gv underscore cursor and gv underscore value. So here after the end of selection we will write our logic at line selection. Always first clear both the variables, that is gv underscore cursor and gv underscore value. Now we want to read on which field the user has clicked, and let's say in this example we want to display secondary list only if the user has clicked on the vendor ID. So for that we have to write get cursor field, and here give a variable name gv underscore cursor, and the value will be in gv underscore value field. Now our vendor ID field is, if you see our write statement, our vendor ID field is gs underscore list underscore listener hyphen listener, and this will be in all capital letters when you double click. So you want to check this value whether the cursor is at that position. So here we write if gv underscore cursor equal to gs underscore list, always write this in the capital letter listener, and gs underscore value is not initial. And if this means that if the cursor position is on the vendor ID and the value is not initial, means there is some value in that field, then as our work area is gs underscore list, so what we'll do, we'll write read table gt underscore list into gs underscore list with key listener equal to gv underscore value. Here our gt underscore list is main internal table in which we have all the record in our gt underscore list table. So based on the vendor ID on which the user have clicked, we are reading that table into the work area. Okay, and now simply we will write let's say vendor ID. In real time there can be any requirement. Just to show the concept, I'm writing here vendor ID and gs underscore list listener. Give a single quote here. Let's say right here 5, and this value will be at the position 20. And then in the second line I want to write simply the name and at 20 I will be writing gs underscore list, that is name 1. So there can be any requirement to do in this block, but we should know the concept how to read the value on which user has clicked. For that we have to understand this concept only till here. Okay, once you know this concept, and if you got the value of cursor field and the value, the remaining part will be based on your requirement. Based on requirement, write down your logic. So here the main point to understand is only this concept, how to write at line selection and how to read the cursor field. Okay, so check. Okay, it is gv underscore value, not gs. No error. Activate. Execute. Now if I click here 881, here the vendor name is Zephyr2. Oh, the value is not printing. Okay, so let me check, let me debug why it is not reading the value. We will also learn one new concept here, that is called as the conversion exist. Now here if you see, here the value is 306881 1 2 3 4 5 6, but actually there is listener is 10 digit. Internally it stored the value with 10 digit. Okay, that's why it is not reading the value. So here either we have to take this field as the type listener, or we have to do a conversion exist alpha input. So better we'll declare this gv underscore value field as per this type, that is listener, and we'll see whether that is working or not. Let me change this field. Instead of character we will take as type listener. Listener is a data element of vendor. If it still is not working, then we have to use conversion exist alpha input. Double click here. Check the value. Okay, still I don't think it will work. Let's see. No, it is not reading. So we have to use the conversion exist alpha input here. So let's see how to add a conversion exist alpha input. So here, before this, what we have to do, click on pattern, right, conversion alpha. There will be two function module. We have to go with this conversion exist alpha input. If you use the alpha input, it will add the leading 0. Here give the field, that is gv underscore value, and in output we will get the value with the added leading 0. 7 activate. put a breakpoint here to check the values. Double click here. Now initially we have only 5-digit ID. Once you press F6 or here this button, that is execute, you can see the leading zeros are added. Total will be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because the length of this field we have declared as 10. Okay. Now system will read the value. See here, press F8. Now you can see the secondary list is displayed as per our requirement. If I click on the first one, so the first vendor is displayed. So like this we can do the use of at-line selection, and based on our requirement we can write any logic which we want to print in the secondary list. So this is one method of making the report as interactive, and the second we'll see how to add the PF status, that is called the GUI status. So first we have to create a PF status with the transaction code SE41. So copy this program name and go to the new transaction code that is called as SE41. Menu enter. Here we have to give the program name, give the status ID which you want to create, ZPF, and click on create icon. Here write PF status for report. Here we can see 3 options: menu bar, application toolbar, and the function keys. The menu bar, which we can see at the top. If you want to create any custom menu bar, then we have to add our details here. And if you want to add any buttons on the application toolbar that is at this level, then we have to make use of this application toolbar. And the function keys, nothing but, as you can see here, that is save, back, exits. Those are called as the standard toolbar. Okay, so here we'll be working with the application toolbar, and we will add some 2 buttons on this level. So first we have to give the ID, let's say XK03 static text, and here we can select different icon from the list. Let's say I want to call the transaction code, that is XK03 display vendor. We can select any icon from the list. So let's simply go with a button. Okay, so I am going with a button icon, and I will call XK03. Press enter. Assign any function key. Again double click here, give the icon text, call, let's say T-code XK03. So when user will click on that button, the function value will be XK03, and based on that, and this text will be displayed. Let me add one more button. Let's say our ABAP editor SE38. Let's select any other icon from the list. You can give any icon. Okay, let me go with this OK, just to show the different concept. SE38, assign the function key, let's say call SE38. save and activate. Now we have created this PF status, that is ZPF, for this report. Now to add that PF status in our report, in our get method, that is the first method, first perform routine, we have to set the status with the syntax as set PF status, and in the single comma give the status name. Set PF status, and here in the comma we have to give the ID. Now let's see the impact of this PF status. So we can see two buttons at the top. Oh, but our back and the button are vanished, so we have to add again. Go to SE41. In the function key, add, that is back, exit and cancel button. Activate. Again check the report whether we can see both the buttons on the screen or not. Yes, here we can see the customize button and our application toolbar, and we can also see the back, exit and the cancel button. Now we have to write the logic when user will click on the SK03 which T code you want to call. So for that, just like we have written at line selection, in the similar way we have to add the logic for user command. So we have written earlier logic here after end of selection. So after this we will write the logic at user command. At user command, and here we have to check the value of sciucom, right, case sciucom, that is user command, and here write the condition, that is when xk03, that is when user has clicked on the sk03, and here in between we have to write our logic. We'll simply display message as you have clicked on xk03, and the message type will be I, that is information message. And let's say for the second button, when SE38, let's call a transaction, that is call transaction SE38, and write end case. Okay, so whenever user click on the any button, that is either SK03 or SE38, this block will get triggered, and if you click on the first button, will display this message, you click on SK03, and if you click on SE38, will call the transaction code SE38. So let's check whether this is working or not, that is at user command. Select text data. If I click here, so you can see if I click SK03, and if I click on call SE38, so you can see the web editor is called, and still our line selection will work. If I click here, now one more point I want to show here, that is how to add a hotspot. Let's say I want to make that field as clickable. So what we'll do, after this vendor ID, here just like at hotspot, let's see what is the impact of this hotspot. So if you use that hotspot, if you add that keywords at the hotspot, so you can see a clickable icon here. Okay, I have to check why that is not working. That is the add selection screen. So in this way we can implement the add line selection and add user command in our report to make the report as interactive. So in this way we're done with this session. Thank you.